All right. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining today's session for Mist Platform Single Sign-On Integration with Microsoft Azure AD. So we are excited to launch this integration, which is very, hot in demand. So it is essential to make your platform secure to maintain the single sign-on activity throughout two systems and so on. So we're very excited to share this with you, and then we look forward to have you on board for this integration. So in today's session, I'll cover the overview of the integration. I won't go in much detail technical aspects of this integration, but I'll just try to, let you know what the integration is, what it does, and then what are the benefits of this integration, and what are some of the other features that this integration offers. So if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to write in the chat box. We'll get back to you with answers to your questions, or we'll get back to agendas tickets if that's this discussion, or if you feel like you want to have a proper demo of the session or detailed discussion, then let us know as well, and we can schedule one-to-one sessions with each and every one of you. Okay, so let's start. So why this integrations today's session agenda? So I'll briefly introduce the Mist single sign-on integration. I'll talk about the benefits that this integration brings along the table. I'll go on a very high level about the configuration that is required for this integration to work, and what are some of the flexible rules and settings that this integration you can control through this integration. I'll also go through the group and user mapping. So your Azure AD maintains or may maintain several groups, and then users under those groups. So you can map those users and groups in mesh systems. So I'll talk about that in a very brief way. I'll also touch base on the seamless user sign-in experience through this integration, what the user can do, and then what they will be able to do it. So some of the information that gets synchronized over two platforms, I'll talk about that as well, and how you can oversee the audit and compliance through this integration. I'll talk about that as well, and some of the prerequisites depending upon what features you want to use through this integration. So first, this integration is a cloud-based Active Directory management. So this is different to the conventional AD that we used to provide for. So this is purely a cloud-based solution, which works through your Microsoft Azure. So this integration basically enables the single login access for both platforms. That means one set of credentials will be enough to go to Mist platform as well as Microsoft platform, so that the user doesn't have to remember or manage two sets of credentials. So Mist already has its own secure signing process, but that is now coupled with the Microsoft Identity Management as well. So for this, we use Microsoft Intra ID under Azure AD. So this just makes the signing process more secure and more smooth for the user. So why you need to have this integration? So what are the benefits? What you can do with this integration? So the main and primary purpose for this integration is to offer a seamless two-way signing experience for a user. So when I say two-way, it will be coming to Mist from Microsoft or going to Microsoft via Mist. So both ways, this integration will help users to maintain the sign-in experience. In terms of user creation, so this is kind of a partial user provisioning as well. So you can create users from Mist into Microsoft. So that's one of the features that this integration offers. So you don't have to maintain creating the user account in two different platforms separately. So this integration uses the centralized identity management, which is managed under Azure AD. So this is a global security management, globally recognized method, and then it's highly secure and then maintained under Azure AD. So this integration is pretty much secure in terms of identity management. You can also add the additional security measures via Azure AD, for example, multi-factor authentication or any other conditional access policies that you want to implement for your user signing. So you can do it via Azure AD as well. So the integration is pretty flexible. Whatever you want to control in Azure AD, you're open to do that. some information syncs between two platforms. So, some of the user information, some of the user status information goes from here to there or there to here. So it's auto syncing as well. So group and user mapping, you may have a number of groups in Microsoft, but you may only want to map a few of those groups to Mesh platform. And that also applies for the user. So you may want to map only a few users or particular users, not or exclude few users as well. So that mapping can also be managed here. So audit and compliance, I'll talk about that in the later slides. It just basically tells you or makes you able to manage or see the activities done by a user and what are the how you can monitor these activities as well. The overall idea of this feature or the benefit of this feature is to reduce the administrative load. So your IT team will be relieved, your student services team will be relieved, like the number of support inquiries will slow down. So it eventually reduces your administrative overload and then eventually increase the efficiency of your team as well. So briefly about the configuration overview. So you need to do app registration under Microsoft Azure AD. So that is under the intra ID. So with that app, you will get the client ID, tenant ID, and client secret key. And you just need to configure that in Mesh system, and that's the configuration done. So your IT team will be more, they may have more information on this one. So that's not like very technical, but your IT team may have more information on this one. But even if you need any assistance from our side, we can help you do this for you as well. So the configuration is pretty simple. You just need to gather a few information from intra ID app registration and then just save it in Mesh system. So that will be the part of the configuration. So soon as you configure this with the integration, then it's ready to use. So there is no implementation timeline for this one. It's ready as it is. So whenever you want to use it, it's already there. So this integration offers some of the flexible rules. So you can choose to use these features or choose not to use these features depending upon your business requirement or your organizational requirement. So some of the rules like you can synchronize account between two platforms if you want to update here and then the updates should go there, or any updates from Microsoft, you want that to come to Mesh system. So that can be managed. You can switch it on and off based on your requirement. So you can choose to create the Microsoft users if Mesh user account is created. So let's say if you have a separate domains for your user types, let's say staff have a separate domain and your student have a separate email domain, then you can specify multiple domains for staff and student types. So that is also supported in this integration. So auto mapping for user accounts. So if you want, there are certain ways of, basically 3 ways of doing the auto mapping. I'll talk about that in the next slide. So this integration also offers auto mapping. This will come handy when you have a number of users already using the Microsoft, and then you have those users in Mesh as well. So the new users going forward, it will work seamlessly, but for the existing users, you have to do the mapping. For that, we have a number of options how you can do the mapping. That will be individual or in automatic mapping. I'll talk about it in the next slide. So you can also enforce the single sign-on. So let's say your organization has a policy that user must use the Microsoft login to sign in. Then you can enforce that rule as well. You can enforce that rule separately for staff or student or for both if you need it. So that's also flexible. So depending on what type of rule or what rules you want to set up for your organization, the app registrations need API permissions. So those API permissions will vary. So when we hear your requirement, then we will be able to tell you what API permissions you may need to acquire for your app registration. So group and user mapping, as I mentioned before, so there will be certain groups in the Microsoft, and then there will be certain users under those groups. So you may not want to map, or you may not want to offer the SSO for a particular group or particular user. So you can specify what group and what user you want to map. So there are certain ways to do the mapping. First is individual. So this is like a basic mapping. So you search for a user in Mesh system, and then search for the matching account in Microsoft in Mesh system itself, and you can simply drag and drop and then do the mapping. So that's a one-to-one mapping or bulk mapping. You can do it in the UI. The other way, if you have like, let's say a number of users, which is not possible to do for which it's not possible for you to do the individual mapping, it's time consuming, it's hectic, we understand. So for that, we offer you the auto mapping. So what auto mapping will do is you can schedule the auto mapping separately for staffs or separately for students. So when the auto mapping cycle runs in mesh system, it will look for the matching information between two platforms. So it will look for the username or the first name, last name information in mesh, and it also checks the same details in Microsoft. If the mapping account is found, then the system auto maps the users, so that all the SSO experience going forward will be implemented for those existing users as well. So this will come handy for the providers or organizations who have already who already maintain a number of users in Microsoft, and then they may already have users in Mist as well. So auto mapping, the last option is pretty straightforward. So you don't have to do individual mapping. You don't have to schedule any auto mapping. So whenever the user logs into mesh system using the Microsoft details, they will be auto mapped. So it's simple as that. So system will check certain information based on their authentication. So if these users are authorized, or let's say the Microsoft says that, okay, here you go, these users are authorized with Microsoft details, then we will map them in automatically. So this is even more efficient solution if you don't want to go for individual or auto mapping. So in terms of signing experience, user, let's say user wants to go to Microsoft first, and they want to log in there. So they can come to mesh system using the Microsoft Enterprise application. So they will see the mesh app in the list of the applications in Microsoft Office 365, and then they'll simply click that icon and log into mesh system. It's easy as that. Or they can come to the usual mesh public portal login. They can click the Microsoft login icon, and then they will be logged into mesh system using their Microsoft details. The other way around is, let's say the student is logged into mesh system, or the user is logged into mesh first, and if they are mapped, then they will see the Microsoft login icon on their homepage. Clicking there will simply take them to the Microsoft platform. So it's pretty straightforward as SSO process that this integration offers. So in terms of user information synchronization between two platforms, so if you want this rule to work for you, or if you want to enable this rule, then if any information for user like first name, middle name, last name, or user account status changes in mesh system, so that will also update the information in Microsoft, provided that the rule is turned on for this feature. The other way around is if any user's account status and username changes in Microsoft, and that also reflects back into mesh system. So, but it doesn't mean that it will change the username in mesh system. It will give some sort of notification that the username details or any other details between mesh user and Microsoft users doesn't match. So it will give a different icon which will tell you that the details don't match. So you can choose to use this feature in terms of synchronizing the user information. And I heard, I saw a query from Vishnu. So yeah, you asked, can you enable one-way synchronization? Yes, you can. So if you only want the information from Mesh to go to Microsoft as an update, you only turn on that rule. If you want the update from Microsoft to come back to Mesh, you can turn on that rule. So there are two separate rules. You can choose to use any one of them based on your requirement. Audit and compliance monitoring. So since Microsoft Azure AD is pretty much secure enough for handling all sort of monitoring, so you can see the user activity under monitoring section in Azure AD, which will give you like detailed information of what user did what activity and then what time and so on. So you can see those monitoring logs in Azure AD to monitor the activities. On top of that, whenever a user is mapped to mesh system, then we maintain a user mapping log, which you can check at any point of time who did the mapping, when the mapping was done, and so on. So all the details are captured in mesh system. Then you can see those activities. On top of that, the SSO activity. So let's say user can log into mesh using the user mesh credentials, or they use the single sign-on through Microsoft, Did they come from the enterprise application? So all the details are also managed under user IP activity tracker in our system, which gives you all the details about each and every SSO activity. So whenever it's required, you can refer to this information and then do your regular audit and compliance. So let's say you want to use this integration for a particular user type. So then based on that, you need to have certain features activated in Mesh platform. So let's say if you want to use the SSO for students, then obviously you need to have the Mesh student portal pre-activated in the system so that any student will have their own account, and those account details will, or that student can log into Mesh system or Microsoft using the Mesh student portal as well. So similarly, if you want to offer the SSO service to your teachers, then you need to have your teacher portal activated and teacher licenses arrangement and so on. So that's another prerequisite if you want to offer this SSO for your teacher users as well. And lastly, and that's the basic prerequisite, you need to have Microsoft subscription. So whenever you have your Microsoft Azure subscription for your organization, then that's pretty much it. So you may need to have a certain level of license for offering few of the features. But if you have a Azure and Office 365 subscription, then this integration is pretty much ready to use. So that's pretty much it for the overview of today's session. So if you have any questions, you can write in the chat box. We'll get back to you. And if not, or if you want to have a detailed session, you just reach out to us at support@mistgroup.com.au, and we'll get back to you with more details, or we can schedule one-on-one session or any other further questions you have. We can discuss about that one. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the session. Hope you like the integration, and we look forward to hear back from you. Thank you, everyone. You have a good day ahead.